Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily, where I have a massive Green Lantern TV series update courtesy of the Illuminati site. So we'll be reading all about that very shortly. Remember, you can tag me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, where you can make video suggestions, article suggestions, anything you want. I'll do it for you and I'll give you a shout out. So yes, welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily. So let's have a look at this Green Lantern TV update. Green Lantern TV series, new character description, story direction, and start date, exclusive to the Illuminati. The Illuminati has uncovered exclusive info about the characters and direction of the upcoming Green Lantern HBO Max series. HBO Max continues to make its mark in the ongoing streaming wars with a new direction that is aimed to please superfans of DC Comics related entertainment. Yesterday's announcement of Wonder Woman 1984 being released simultaneously in theatres and on HBO Max was only the latest encouraging news. There is also the much-hyped revamp of Zack Snyder's Justice League, along with the Suicide Squad spin-off Peacemaker, are just some of the headline-grabbing projects in current development. One of the most exciting projects announced for HBO Max is the developing Green Lantern series. The show is produced by Greg Berlanti and written by Berlanti, Mark Guggenheim and Seth Grahame-Smith. The show has been revealed to focus on multiple heroes from the Green Lantern Corps, and we have fresh details on the new superhero leads. Last month, the Direct cracked the egg on the project, and now we have even more green goodness to share. Green Lantern is looking to begin shooting in April of 2021. Unlike many other Berlanti productions, particularly those set in the Arrowverse, the project is looking to shoot in Los Angeles. Interesting, because normally the CW stuff and even the old WB stuff did shoot in Canada. We were also unable to find out the number of episodes expected to shoot and the scope of the show in terms of a commitment from HBO. We were only able to confirm a commitment for the pilot episode, which is worth mentioning and monitoring during pre-production. Well, I don't know why they're finding it quite hard to tell you how many episodes that's been greenlit. It's about 10 episodes and it goes beyond the pilot, so I don't know why they're saying that. They are currently casting the leads for Green Lantern, and we have some interesting info on the characters and the setup of the developing series. The three leads, Guy Gardner, Bree Jarta and Alan Scott, are all intended to be series regulars and are described as follows. Guy Gardner, white male 30s, a hulking mass of masculinity as rendered in the comics. Guy is a personification of the hyper-patriotism found in the 1980s and birthed Hulk Hogan and Rambo. However, Guy is still likeable. He might act foolish, but he is not a fool. Guy loves his daughter and wife with all of his hard partying, fast driving, hot-tempered heart, but like many alpha males, there is a deep undercurrent of pain driving it all. So, welcome to the modern day entertainment industry. By being an alpha male, you're a bad person, but it's okay. It's okay, everyone. He has a wife and kids, so even though he's part of the patriarchy and he's alpha male and he's very aggressive and he's very beefy and, you know, he probably goes to the gym, bad person, but he's got a redeeming character. He has a family and he loves them. That description sums up the mentality of the entertainment industry, but you either go with it or you go to your wardrobe and watch your old stuff. That's all I can say. Bree Jarta, black female, I'm sure she's a very good person. Female 30s, few lanterns take their commitments to the cause and its purpose more seriously than Bree. Bree's a half human and it's the half she's worked hard to forget. Bree has an alien mother and a human father. However, she was raised on a more enlightened planet with an advanced society. Bree outworked her peers and earned her ring, only to find herself partnered with Guy Gardner. Wow, well, we can see the political commentary in this. This is identity politics at its very worst, right? So we got this kind of really aggressive man, alpha male, partnered with a woman of colour. I wonder what kind of messaging they're trying to give us there. Alan Scott, white male, 28 years old, from the outside, Alan is the model of early 1940s, the image of a G-man. Also is handsome, clean-shaven and well-dressed without a hair out of place. He has spent his young life trying to personify truth, justice and the American way. He is already a household name in LA and is seen as a hero thanks to positive press coverage. However, for all of Alan's honesty, there is one huge lie that follows him. He is a gay man, a fact that in his era could cost him his job, even his life. Now, we've seen some of this being done in Doom Patrol as well. They did a very good job, and I think Belanti was involved in that as well. So, listen, sounds good, right? But already, because he's a gay man, he's a good bloke. Now, I'm not saying gay people are not good people. People from the LGBTQ community are not good people. That's not the point here. But if you're an alpha male, you're bad. This is where they've got this whole representation and inclusion thing all wrong. Putting one element down to raise the other one up. Many were curious how the brash hero Guy Gardner would be adapted for the big or small screen. Apparently they are using the action star of the 1980s as a motif for the lead. Those leads were often portrayed as overly muscular gunners who could take out an entire army without getting shot. Fans of the comics are also familiar with Gardner's darker side, which seems like could be addressed in the series eventually as well. We don't have any info on who is currently under consideration to play Guy. However, it feels like this role would have been John Cena's for the taking if he hadn't been snagged by James Gunn for the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker spin-off series C'est la vie. Just as interesting as the direction of Gardner is his pairing with Brie Larson, a new Green Lantern in the canon. There have been early rumblings that the series focusing on the Green Lantern Corps would have a Lethal Weapon buddy cop film. It seems that Brie and Guy are the perfectly imperfect duo to track during the series, with the brash patriotism and masculinity, male masculinity, toxic masculinity, they're not saying that by the way, of Guy contrasted by the alien with mixed heritage that really feels above her earthling roots. This promises to be a fresh pairing, particularly for the superhero Janelle. I'll tell you what's going to happen. She's going to keep on telling him what a terrible, toxic white male she is. That's not me. This is what they're going to do. Now, normally, in the good old days, this would be a brilliant kind of pairing like Danny Glover's and Mel Gibson's was, where it was equal, right? Where they actually become a family as well as work buddies. But this is not what these people want to do, unfortunately. The description of Alan Scott is equally compelling as his story almost seems to be told apart from the duo. It could be that he's simply a man out of time with 1940s sensibilities. However, the struggles that the description provides really seems to point to a storyline and struggles set in the 1940s, as previously indicated by the direct. It appears that the Green Lantern series is being built on solid foundation. Recent revelations on the show featuring a more mature tone only increase the anticipation for the first big budget adventure for the Green Lantern Corps. With shooting scheduled in 6 short months, there will surely be a lot more to report for one of HBO Max's most ambitious projects. And I think that's the article. Yes, that is the article. So, pretty much nothing new there from what the direct gave us. But I do feel this is going to be a very ambitious visual feast at the very least. The kind of identity politics sensibilities there cannot be helped. It's part of modern day storytelling, and you, as I say, you either don't bother with it or you just have to embrace it. Hopefully, it's going to be a really, really good show. I am looking forward to it, and it just goes to prove the people saying that HBO Max is a failure as absolutely wrong. Because HBO Max is a platform that released during a pandemic. Unfortunately, HBO Max probably did launch a year early, as I said, on yesterday's DCEU Daily, where they won't be... The whole thing for HBO Max was the Friends reunion, which they couldn't do because of the pandemic. That would have set them up. But it is a really, really good platform. They have had a few hiccups. They did have to kind of pretty much fire the whole team they started with, and they've brought in a new team. The whole idea of Max Originals and all that was done down. It's all Warner Brothers. It's all under the platform of Toby Emmerich now, which I think with Toby's experience is the right decision. They are getting things right What you've got to remember is that Ann Sarnoff was the one who pretty much created BritBox in America and made it a big success. And then you've got Jason Kilar, who was working on Hulu. He's the one who made Hulu a success as well. So these are really, really, really clever people who have streaming backgrounds. So they're going to get it right. And, you know, people calling this platform a failure, people saying that Wonder Woman 84 is launching on HBO Max as well as movie theatres because they're desperate because HBO Max is struggling, are simply talking shit. What frightens me about these people is they actually look like, when you look into their eyes, that they actually believe what they're saying. No, it hasn't broken any records. It's not beating Disney Plus. But next year with Green Lantern Corps, with Peacemaker, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, this is going to be a very, very successful platform. And just because you say it's not, it doesn't mean that is the truth. I could watch Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer all day. In fact, I have got it on repeat. And I forgot to switch it off before I started the video. But it doesn't matter. You're enjoying watching it while you're listening to me ramble on. So finally today, I just want to think about the year of 2020. But not in terms of what we've gone through this year, kind of the uncertain future, but how DC have handled this pandemic. And I think they've handled it beautifully. You know, we had the announcement of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We had a Batman versus Superman watch party. We then had a Man of Steel watch party, which brought Henry Cavill along to actually... and then they announced in front of some fans as well that Zack Snyder's Justice League was happening on HBO Max. Then we had Fandom, one of the most ambitious, digital events, online events of all time. And it was a success. Now think about this, Comic-Con International. The Comic-Con digital panel wasn't a success, but DC Fandom was. They really did a good job. We learned so much about Jim Lee's and Walter Hamada's multiverse strategy. We had a great Zack Snyder panel. He revealed the trailer. It's a shame people spoiled it for us and leaked it online before he did. I think he was upset about that, but it's a great trailer. And he's gone back and he's made it even greater. So with Fandom and the announcements of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad spin-off for HBO Max as well, Peacemaker, and Gotham PD from Matt Reeves. They've lost a showrunner, by the way. They're just going to get another one. I wouldn't worry about that too deeply. Apparently creative differences, which is a natural thing to happen in the industry. But I think you can say that the acquisition of AT&T of Time Warner, the now Warner Media, has been a big, big success so far. You see, again, if I go back to people saying that HBO Max is a failure, it's interesting because when I talk to people behind the scenes, they say, listen, we understand how people look at things nowadays. If you don't make over $1 billion box office, you're not a success. If you don't beat Disney Plus as a streaming platform, you're not a success. Or if you're not reaching to the heights of Netflix. But they made it very clear to me. And they told me this wasn't an excuse. They've only been around for what? 4 or 5 months, not even that. And, they're happy to take their time. They want quality, not quantity. They're very excited about what's coming to the platform next year and beyond. They are not worried. They do agree they did have to make some changes and they have made some mistakes. But they have pointed to some mistakes Disney Plus and Netflix have made in their times as well. Everyone makes mistakes. This is a new breed. The streaming and, the media makes so much about streaming wars. Grace Randolph did a video yesterday saying, Disney, Disney get back on HBO Max by releasing, I forgot what it is now, some Disney standalone story or something, right? Really, Wonder Woman against that? I don't think so, Grace. Of course there are streaming wars because some people, actually a lot of people, can't afford to have all the streaming platforms. So you have to win. Apple TV isn't even in the race, even though they've signed up big A-list stars, because we don't really have movie stars anymore. The people that they're getting in don't have the influence, as big as they are in the industry now, to actually drag you there. Just because they've been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just because Jason Momoa is doing, Apple TV content, doesn't mean I'm going to get an Apple TV subscription. No, it really is the era of IPs now. And I think HBO Max are doing a great job. I think they have a great future. And ultimately, I think they will stand in the big three of Netflix, Prime Video, and it will be HBO Max. And I think Disney Plus will come there behind them as well. But Disney Plus, unless they embrace the Fox material they purchased and have an adult content, are never going to be able to keep up. You know, since I've had Disney Plus, I've gone through everything, right? All I do now is watch new episodes of The Mandalorian. So to say that HBO Max is a failure is simply not true. And now a lot of people say, oh, it's basically DC Max, isn't it? So what? Who gives a fuck? Are you being serious? And they're making loads of independent movies, different stuff. They've had, you know, some really good series on there as well. They're doing some great stuff with their HBO platform as well. It's a really ambitious, great platform, and I think it is a success. Now, it's a relative success. It's not reaching the heights straight away, but that was never going to be the case. Now, if you want HBO Max to fail, you can keep on going around and saying it's a failure. But I can absolutely tell you this now. The Wonder Woman 84 isn't going to be releasing on December the 25th because they're desperate. This was their last window, right? I had a little bit of a debate with Scott Mendelson. It's interesting. I must be one of the few kind of Snyderverse DCEU fans he hasn't blocked. And that's because I'm a bit more constructive when I talk to him. He was talking about, he doesn't agree with Warner Brothers, Warner Media releasing Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max and in theatres. He believes they should have waited until the pandemic is over. My problem, as I said to him, and it was a good little conversation, by the way, a positive one, but my opinion is this, that they had to release it on December the 25th. They postponed it last year. They've postponed it 2 or 3 times this year. And he talks about $1 billion, but then he says to me, I'm not talking about $1 billion. I'm talking about maybe, you know, $1 billion, but I'm talking about maybe 700, 800. And that's all very well, but when is that going to be plausible? There is no evidence that movie theatres will be able to bring that kind of money in. And is that really the type of money they want? Of course they're being greedy with Wonder Woman 84. But Jason Kilar said an interesting thing, actually. He said, Wonder Woman 84 made about 90 million or something in Japan or China. Can we do that again with the split of HBO Max and movie theatres? He's taking a gamble. They've done the maths. Now, they didn't do the maths with Tenet. Some people say releasing Tenet was a mistake. Well, releasing Tenet just in theatres wasn't a Warner Media initiative. They were under pressure from Christopher Nolan, who wanted to breathe life into movie theatres too soon. So they did what he wanted because they don't want to lose that relationship they have with Chris. Now, I understand their point of view and I understand his point of view as a filmmaker and a lover of IMAX and the movie theatre experience. I love that experience too. The difference between me and Christopher Nolan is I'm a realist. And I understand what's happening here. The future that you're going to see on December the 25th of Wonder Woman 84 being on HBO Max for a month and in movie theatres as well is the future. You know when they used to say, oh, this film coming to cinemas near you and then in 3 months on DVD and Blu-ray. That was that normal. Now we have a different new normal. Movies being released in cinemas and on streaming platforms for 1 month, then allowing movie theatres to breathe. This is the experiment. Ultimately, whether or not people will continue going to movie theatres is up to us. It's up to people to make that decision. But to give people the ultimate choice during a pandemic is the right decision. They knew they couldn't just release it in theatres, but they needed to keep to that December the 25th release because of the potential, the realistic potential of a backlog. That you can't keep on making movies and investing money in a product and then not selling it. It doesn't make sense. So this is the new normal. It is the right decision. And all these people saying it's wrong or it's desperate are absolutely wrong. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.